Devin is in Marion, Indiana. Hi, Devin. Welcome to the Entre Podcast.
Hi, Dave. Honored to be here. Thanks for having me. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
So I am an owner of a small mobile truck repair company with 4 employees. We started in March of 2022 and have since grown to myself and 2 other technicians, generating approximately $1.2 million in total annual revenue.
Way to go, man.
Thank you. So essentially, after spending the last decade as a technician myself with clear guidelines to judge my productivity, I'm struggling to feel productive as I transition into more of a leadership role and developer of the business and spending less time with a wrench in my hands. So my question for you would be, what advice would you give to a person in my position, and what does this process look like as we continue to grow? Because it's difficult for me to feel productive as I step further into like a leadership role from a lifetime as a technician.
Well, I think the difference is you're going from working in the business to working on the business.
Right.
Michael Gerber talks about that in the famous book E-Myth. If you've not read that little book, you ought to pick it up and read it. E-Myth. Okay? And the whole concept is that you're moving from treadmill operator to Pathfinder. You're moving up the stages of business when you do this. Right now, too much of the revenue is produced by your hand on a wrench, and you're wanting to step away from that and actually own a business that, while you're on vacation, makes money.
Right.
And that's the beauty of business, is that you can move the production off to someone else. If the revenue is all on the one guy or gal, then you're definitely on that treadmill. If you get off the treadmill, it quits moving. And, you go on vacation, you're unemployed. You go in the hospital, you're unemployed, And so you're building a real business when you move from treadmill operator to Pathfinder, and that means that you've got to line up the delegation to these other guys. And so now you have a new job. Your new job is business owner and leader. What is the job description then of this business owner or leader? And if you fulfill that job description, you by definition would be productive. If you're turning a wrench and you're turning the wrench, you're by definition productive, okay? So if you're doing that, so I'm productive when I'm meeting with someone that causes things to happen in this company. That's leadership. I'm productive as a leader when I take problems and blockers out of the way of my folks so they can get their work done, serving the team by knocking down any obstacles that are in their way. My job is to make the path as smooth as possible and or give them the tools to smooth the road out, right? And so that's your job is to what? Handle marketing, handle customers, handle accounting to make sure that bills are paid and that revenue is collected and that money is set aside for new tools and truck purchases. But as you grow, you're going to need that. That's retained earnings. Your job is to manage the team and set the tone and the work ethic and follow up and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Spot checking. Don't expect what you don't inspect. So if you're doing all of those things, if you're managing the accounting, you're managing getting new business in with marketing, you're managing the customers, which is the relationships, you're following up, making sure quality is there, you're setting the money aside for growth, and you're making sure the bills are paid and doing all the proper accounting methods and getting all that stuff, making sure someone's doing all that, then you are the orchestra director. You don't play an instrument, but you cause the whole stinking thing to happen.
Yeah, right.
And the thing about that is you remember that when you're directing the orchestra, your back is to the crowd.
Right.
You're facing the team.
Gotcha.
And so your job is serving that team and making sure that the drummer's drumming and the bugler's bugling and so forth, or however that works. This metaphor is falling apart before my eyes, but yeah.
Yeah, I've got you. I guess my biggest concern is that I just would like to help to maintain the margins that have, allowed us to attract and retain the top talent that has gotten us to where we are. And I'm worried that by spending less time directly generating revenue, doing the work hands-on, that, those margins might slip and we may not be able to continue to
well, were you paying yourself when you were doing that?
Yes.
If you were paying yourself, then and you're paying someone else what you were paying them, as long as they're productive, your margins won't slip mathematically. The only way your margins would slip is if you actually didn't have the margin because you weren't paying yourself and you thought that was margin, and that happens a lot at the treadmill stage, and it doesn't sound like you were doing that, or you're worried that productivity is going to slip. And that is your job, is to make sure it doesn't. And that's setting culture in place. And, what is it? At Ramsey, we talk a lot about what it means to be a we. We at Ramsey do this. And if you want to be a we, you're going to do that. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. But this is what we do.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We take care of the customer. We smile. We are kind. We stand on principle. We fight for the little guy. That's who we are. We work our butts off. And when we leave at 5 o'clock and go home and turn off our computer, we don't overwork people. This is who we are. If you want to be a we, that's how you do it. In your case, you're saying, hey, we take care of the customer. We go in there. We don't leave a greasy mess on their car. It's clean when you leave. And a clear explanation to the customer is given of what the work that was done, what they were charged for, and exactly why they were charged. There's no confusion. High levels of communication, high levels of quality, speed. We do it fast. We're on site when we say we're going to be on site. That's what we do. And if you have someone that doesn't do that, then they can't be a we.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so the way you maintain those margins is high customer relations and high productivity, meaning that the guys who are supposed to be working are actually freaking working. That's it. I mean, it's not any harder than that. You can't, you're not laying under a tree in the parking lot while you're supposed to be over there working on that lady's car. I mean, and then go home. How was your day? Oh, it was really rough. I had to take 2 naps. That'll get your butt fired right there. And so that's how, but that's the stuff you got to watch, and that's where your productivity will go and your margins will go. And you'll have pissed off customers and you'll lose them too, because they don't like it when the guy that you sent out there to work doesn't work. That's how the consumer is. We think that they ought to do like what they're supposed to do. Hey, man, sounds like a cool business. I like what you're doing, and you are doing the right thing to move up that next step from treadmill to Pathfinder. Very, very well done. I'm proud of you. Keep it up, Devin. Call me anytime, man. Love to participate in your success. I'm proud for you. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.